Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over the first AR that I ever purchased, this Bushmaster that I got all the way back in 2012. So over the years, this thing has had more makeovers than the Kardashians. So today I'm going to be going over some of the different upgrades that I've done to it, some of the different setups I've had it in over the years, and kind of some plans for this gun for the future. I don't think this is its final configuration, so we're going to get into all that on today's video. So this gun started out as just your plain standard 2012 era Bushmaster AR-15. So it had, at the time, a carry handle, the tubular handguards, a fixed front sight, just your standard buttstock that comes on every generic AR. And it was just bare bones, plain Jane. And for the time, 2012, 2011 era, that was pretty standard. So like I said, over the years, I've had this thing in tons of different configurations because for a long time, this was my only and my primary AR. So the first thing I did when I got this gun is obviously, because you know, that's the first thing you do, is you swap out the flash hider for one of those with the prongs on it, the pointy prongs, that, because you know all the close quarters fighting that I was doing back in 2012. So that was the first upgrade I did, the flash hider with the pointy prongs. Second, I got one of the probably the cheapest drop-in quad rail that I could find, and with the quad rail, the pointy flash hider, I had officially entered my FUD phase at the ripe age of 18 years old. So I took off I think it was a UTG handguard, the quad rail that I had purchased, and I got one of the Magpul, just like drop-in replacement. It still had the short carbine length gas system in the handguard. I'll add a photo of what the stock rifle looked like when I purchased it. So I dropped in the Magpul furniture on this thing, and that's kind of how it went for a long time. I had an Aimpoint T1 that I put on it. It's now wearing an EOTech, but at the time I had an Aimpoint. I replaced the grip with a BCM grip, Magpul stock. This stock is not all that much better than the original stock that came with it. This stock has no QD attachment points, so that's kind of a bummer, but at the time nobody was running QD swivels for the most part, so it was all loop slings, like just in the little attachment points here. So that's how it ran. I ran this gun for a long time. So soon thereafter I started buying different ARs, more ARs, and I started shooting this gun less and less, so it kind of just sat for a while. But last year I took this thing and I wanted to modernize it even further, so I cut the front sight post off. I retained the gas block that's built into the front sight post, so I just shaved it down, and I took the delta ring and all that kind of good stuff off of this gun, and I got this BCM free float M-lock rail. And I think that is probably the biggest and best upgrade that I've done to this gun, is to get rid of the front sight posts, the old tubular drop-in style handguards, and went with a free float rail. This thing is super accurate. It's got a 1 in 9 twist barrel, which, you know, just run whatever you got, and I wouldn't get too caught up on that. Different ammo sizes and weights are going to run differently in different twist rate barrels, but this thing shoots really well with 55 grain ammo that I just shoot all the time with it. This thing shoots steel case like it's nothing. That's what I've primarily shot out of this thing, is just cheap steel case ammo over the years. But this free float rail really gives it a nice feel, and it gets rid of your hand used to have to be all the way back up here because the barrel was just bare from about here forward. So it allows you to get a much further out grip, really C-clamp it, you know, like all the cool guys do nowadays, and really bring that gun back into your shoulder. Because used to, you know, I had my rail here and it had me a little foregrip, and I was just, you know, I thought I was the coolest kid on the block with my little foregrip down here. But, you know, as I've been shooting over the years, I realized that, you know, this is, for me anyway, the best way to grip this firearm and keep it controlled under recoil. So free float rail, super happy with that. Like I said, I just shaved down the front sight post. I didn't have to get a new gas block or anything like that. I just repurposed the one I had. This rail fits over it nicely, and I'm super, super pleased. Still have the BCM grip, still have the Magpul stock, but took the aim point, put it on one of my other rifles, and I had this EOTech that wasn't on anything, so I just put this EOTech on here. It's a EXP2-0, something like that. It does not have the built-in QD riser, so it's just standard. It goes on your rail slots right here. So now let's talk about how I plan to set this thing up in the future. So moving forward, I don't think this is the final configuration for this rifle. What I'm thinking about doing is taking off this EOTech, and I'm gonna add probably like a 1 to 10, or maybe like a 4 to 12, 3 to 18, some type of scope that has variable. Not too high. This is obviously not a 1,000-yard sniper rifle, so to speak. This is more of a 16-inch, just, you know, DMR, if you will. So 10 power magnification would probably be plenty. You know, 12, 16 power would be ideal, you know, if you were able to add the scope like that on there. With a 16-inch barrel, you know, 750 yards is not a problem if you practice it and you have good quality ammunition. So probably nothing further than that I wouldn't attempt with this gun. I'd probably want an 18 or a 20-inch barrel, but for 16-inch, where I live, the terrain we have around here, it's plenty long for me. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do in the future. Right now, it just wears an A2 bird cage. I had an AAC muzzle device on here that I used with some AAC suppressors, but I think I'm going to go with a Yankee Hill suppressor next. So I'm probably going to just keep this on here until I swap it out for one of the Yankee Hill QD muzzle devices that they have for their suppressor line. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So be on the lookout for a video of that in the future. Magazines, I run just standard PMags, Gen 3 PMags. I've ran steel mags, Lancer polymer mags, Gen 2 PMags. So, you know, it'll run anything, and this thing has been super reliable over the years. Little to no malfunctions. You know, I'm not big on keeping your gun cleaned after every range trip. I think that's a little bit much, but I am big on keeping it lubricated. So this thing stays lubed up. It's nice and slick. The action's smooth. It's not dry. I see a little bit of oil on the back of my charging handle and all, which I'm fine with. Make sure everything's lubed up and running smoothly. So yeah, this thing is just you know, for a 10-year-old rifle, I can't complain. You know, back in the day, I think I paid like 950 bucks for this, which a standard AR now costs you anywhere from like 400 to 450 bucks, which, you know, back in the day, it was either this for 950 bucks or you get like a $1,400 Colt, just standard AR also. So, you know, can't complain there. The prices were what they were back then. So all in all, just pretty happy with this thing. It's funny, this thing's had about 3 or 4 different paint jobs on it. You can hardly read the engravings on this thing anymore because it has so much paint just caked on it over the years. I think this gun has been tan with the fishnet pattern. It's been gray. It has this pattern that you see on it now, and there's had to been another one in between. But yeah, just again, all in all, Bushmaster, can't complain with the brand. It's done me well, no malfunctions. It's probably had 10, 11,000 rounds through it over the years, so it's held up nicely. Hadn't replaced any of the parts, any of the rings or anything in the bolt carrier group. So just super pleased with this gun, and for your first AR, I think I did pretty well. So you may have noticed I don't have a sling or a white light on this gun, so those are some things I'm going to add as I go. So once I transitioned this gun from my primary to one of my backup ARs, I took all the slings and all the lights that I had on this thing and I put them on now my primary AR. So this thing will slowly get equipped as time goes on, but for now I'm just running it slick, no sling, no light, just the optic, not even any backup iron, so not too bad. So to wrap it up, this gun has served me well over the years. It was my first AR. You know, I experimented with it. I added tons of different accessories, stuff I should have never put on it, stuff I'm happy I put on it. But, you know, looking back, when I first started getting into ARs and guns, you know, you don't know a whole lot as the average person would. So it's just a learning experience over the years. And like, I'm glad I never sold this gun or got rid of it or, you know, sold it to buy something else. This is a solid AR that'll serve me for many, many, many years to come. So, you know, looking back on it, or if somebody were buying their first AR today, you could get like a Palmetto State Armory AR for $400, $350 sometimes when they have deals. And, you know, that's a good option. But if you wanted to save up, you could get a BCM, which if you've seen any of the other videos on the channel, you know I'm a big fan of BCM and the guns that they make. So, you know, BCM run you on sale maybe $1,300, $1,400. So it's all just dependent on what you can afford, what you want, what you're going to do with the gun. So just do your research is what I would tell you to do prior. You know, I didn't really research a ton when I went to buy this thing. I kind of went to my gun store that I frequent back in the day, and I just looked at what they had on the shelf, and this one was in the budget, so I picked it out. But definitely research it. Figure out what you need, what kind of barrel, how long of a barrel, all that kind of good stuff, and just make the decision that best suits you. And just keep in mind, if you do get a $300, $400 Palmetto State, you can always come in the future and upgrade it with certain parts like grip, stock, rail, trigger, just all kind of good stuff. So what you get to begin with doesn't mean it has to stay that way. So just get it, train with it, and learn to use it. So thank you guys for watching this video. Stay tuned, we have new uploads coming out every week. So drop us a like and hit us with that subscribe button. So thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.